What's going on, guys? This is the second season of the Bossman Prophecies.
There you go.
And, man, I'm pumped, man. I have one of the funniest dudes that I know personally.
Thank you.
Keep
it up. Keep bringing me up.
I love it. I love it, man.
Talk more about me.
Mr. Chris Harvey, man. I love it.
Up, man. Harvey in the building.
Yeah, I know it, man. We've been doing stuff together for what, man? Some years now.
Since 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
So 6 years.
6 years.
I'm getting old.
That's going quick.
Fast,
man.
Right?
Yeah, I remember, one of the first times working together, man, we were in the haunted house.
Yeah. I think you just bought the lake, right?
Yeah, just bought the lake.
Yeah.
And, you were it, man. I love hanging out with this guy because I actually feel small too.
Okay, all
Next
right.
I
thought you were giving me more compliments. You can compliment me. You look like you could be my dad, though.
Right, exactly.
We look similar. So that's
So have you ever since then? Have you been getting into the haunted stuff anymore?
I haven't done anything haunted house since the lake. Yeah, since that it was fun, and I hung up my what would you call your cleats? But for haunted houses, I hung them up after that.
Yeah, I'll never forget that, man. Listen, I didn't even want to walk in there after seeing you in there. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I wasn't that scared. I was just creative. I'd wear different outfits.
Oh, very, very creative. What were some of them outfits?
I wore for our soft opening, which you brought all your biker people.
Yeah, all the biker.
I wore a maid outfit, and I was like a weird maid. I don't know. And I was the start of the haunted house, and I would walk them through the front half.
Yes.
And then the next one I would say is the weirdest was the boutique. What's that called?
The brassiere type.
Yeah, it's the thing
sucking
that,
in and clamp.
Whatever that thing's called.
Yeah.
I wore that corset.
Yeah, corset.
And I had a bridesmaid thing over my face. That was probably the weirdest too.
I'll never forget this guy coming up to me saying, because we had long lines.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Man, this guy came up to me and was like, hey, man, boss man, that guy over there, he said that he'll get me up in the front if it would pinch your nipple or something. I'm like,
we'll say the PG version. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, pinch my nipple.
I started cracking up.
I was a clown that night, and I wasn't wearing a shirt.
Yeah,
so I was wearing pants and clown makeup. Yeah,
that was hilarious.
It was good times. Times. It had potential.
So after that, man, it seems like your career has really been taking off.
Yeah, man, I've been doing a lot of stuff. Been doing comedy. I've been doing comedy since 2014. So I was only 4 years into comedy when we met. So I hadn't really started touring yet. So now I've been touring. I opened up for like David Wayans Jr. I opened up for Chris Kattan, some from SNL. I think you might have seen him before. So opened up for a lot of people now and just touring and trying to do stuff on my own.
Man, I remember last summer? You were how many states? I mean, you were everywhere.
I've done 37 states,
No
I think
kidding.
I said. So almost a fit. I need 13 more. And then I hit all the states. So touring a lot, trying to get as many shows as possible.
Yeah.
Come home whenever I can and do some shows here. So
meeting a lot of great people, I guess.
Yeah, man, it's been fun. It's weird meeting like celebrities and like working with them and like doing shows with them because sometimes you forget who you're talking to. You're like, oh man, I grew up watching this person.
Right.
So like Chris Kattan specifically, like watching him on SNL or in Undercover Brother or the Night at the Roxbury, and then sitting there talking, watching. We watched the Roadhouse, the new Roadhouse.
Yes.
In the green room, we watch it together. I'm like, I'm watching Roadhouse with Chris Kattan. That's the weirdness that you have, like stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love. You approached me the other day with this great idea.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd love to tap into that a little bit because I was sitting there thinking about that. I was talking to somebody yesterday about how that would be huge for the area, definitely for Kim Tam.
Yeah.
For yourself,
right.
It would be a cheaper way to produce a movie.
Are you talking about for the
show? Yeah.
You
Tell
keep
us
saying
a little
movie.
bit about
I've been thinking about more of a show.
A show, all right.
Like a TV series, maybe for YouTube or maybe for a different platform of doing a show at the lake with me being the lead lifeguard and having a misfit group of lifeguards with different personalities and different backgrounds being who has to make the lake successful.
Oh, that would be huge.
Yeah, I'm working on. I'm almost done with the script, and it's we're gonna try to shoot something, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's I think that'd
I'm
be a lot
ready
of fun.
for it, man.
Yeah,
I think it'd be great.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah.
your other comedians would be
Yeah,
a lot of the lifeguards and
I had a couple people in mind for some spots that are currently touring and are blowing up, kind of. So to try to get them in before we can't afford them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. I noticed in that business, man, it could go up
Overnight.
I've been approached by some different people, around the country, and I'm like, how much is that? I'm like, it just blows my mind away.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go through $1 million in a sec. I mean,
for sure.
Boom. They're like, they won't even, you can't even sniff that game for that.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's hard to get into it until you have it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think doing it here and trying to do our version of a show, like something like that, I think it could really work, especially with how we can do it, especially with you have so many different things with the lake that we can make cool and bringing in different things like bobs and the food truck.
Yeah,
and
we
stuff
got all
like
the
that.
props, we got some characters here and there. I mean, there's characters here at the lake, man. You could just
work them in.
that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. So
yeah, that would be cool, man.
On.
Yeah, I would love
stuff.
Yeah, if we could start filming that, or
that.
What are you thinking, like a YouTube deal, or
I'm thinking so. Have you ever heard of Cobra Kai?
Cobra Kai, yeah, I've heard of it.
It was the remake of the Karate Kid.
Yeah,
and they started that on YouTube, and a lot of series start on YouTube, and they can get picked up later if they're good enough or have a big enough following. So maybe we start something on YouTube and see where it goes.
Yeah.
YouTube's a great place. That's where a lot of comedians are now putting their specials instead of putting it to Netflix or that. And that's how they're gaining their following is off of YouTube. It's just crazy.
Cool, man. Well, listen, I'm looking forward to that project with you.
I think it'll be fun. We'll get you in there. Get you
cool.
some cameo time.
Yeah, I don't know how much I need, but yeah, it might be a little scary. But is there anything else cool going on?
I mean, we're doing a show here.
Yeah. August 30th, right?
August 31st.
31st.
I think it's Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm headlining it. I got a dude named Bill Stone featuring, and a guy named Matt Farkas hosting. All local Akron guys. It's all been touring and doing stuff. So it should be a really good show. I'm hoping that we sell it out. I don't know what would count as a sellout. How many people can we fit in the lake?
Are you thinking like pavilion area?
Yeah, I mean to start, unless we sell enough tickets.
I say like we get them in here early, you know, and then they could with the ticket, they could, go swim in, whatever.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
And
swim
then,
and a show.
Yeah, and a show. And we'll do the show at night. Maybe start a bonfire.
Yeah.
And by that time, the pavilion will be, hopefully it's set up, because I'm going to make that into an all season deal with sides and stuff. So
that makes sense.
And it'll be sweet.
Yeah, swimming a show's not a bad name for it either.
Yeah.
For the comedy show.
Swimming a show.
Swimming a show.
Yeah, I like it.
That's like dinner and a show, but swimming a show.
Swimming a show. So August 31st.
Yeah.
And you haven't been around the Akron area.
I haven't done anything
lately.
Here in a year and a half. So this is like the chance to come see me. I'm also working on filming my first special. And that might be the next time I'm in Akron. I'm working out a deal to do it at a theater here. So this might be the only chance you can get me before I try to film a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, you were a big deal.
Oh, thank you, man. And if you don't know who I am, like you can look me up. I've been on Hulu, Amazon Prime, and Stars on movies. Rent Due, Hamish Postman, and A Drone That Saved Christmas. You seen any of them?
Yeah. You sent me over that when we're doing the poster. So I had to look them up.
And then I was just on a TV show called Discontinued that was produced by Ryan Reynolds, where we talked about things that been discontinued in the past, like Game Boy, Furby, stuff like that. Yeah. So that was with Bruce Campbell. I don't know if you know who that is. Did you ever see that? Matt knows who he is. But yeah, so I did a show with them called Discontinued that was pretty popular on Sling TV and stuff like that. So I've done some things. So if you haven't seen me, come see me August 31st here at Kim Tam Lake.
I'm telling you, and another thing, I needed you here on Father's Day. I needed you.
I know.
We have a guy for the hamburger eating challenge. Yes, he won again. Oh my God! But I know
it was 3 years ago. I almost beat him, but it was hot. It was too hot. and I couldn't eat it fast enough because it was like he got his burger first,
See,
and then
he
it was
knew.
like 10 minutes before I got my burger, so his was cooled down. So by the time me and you got ours was flaming hot, and we tried to eat them, and it burned our whole mouth, and we couldn't eat it as fast.
See, he
But I
knew,
came
I'm
in
telling
second
you.
by literally, I think, 3 seconds.
Oh, it was
think
so
he- yeah.
close. And this year, did you see it this year?
I didn't watch it. No, I've been out of
Oh
town.
yeah, he dropped some of it on the ground. Oh yeah, he was a champ. I mean, he
ate it.
Oh yeah, he dropped it. He did a good
Was
job.
anyone close to beating him?
Yeah, actually, probably not as close as you were, but probably almost 10 seconds.
Jeez.
And he was a young kid. So.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, listen, I think you could do it, man. If
I
that
think
thing wasn't
probably-
hot,
Yeah,
you
if
could
it was
have
hot,
done
if it
it.
was cool, I would have been cool.
Yeah.
I'd have been fine. Man, that's I like how you need to do is a chug off. I don't know if I'll lose in a chug off.
Really, you're pretty good at that?
Yeah. I can chug. If it can't be beer, it could be anything. But
Yeah.
I can chug anything. Pretty fast. Sounded a little weird, but not in that way. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're like with the beer bong or
No, I just like a 22-ounce cup.
and just
Yeah, I can
and then just slam it.
So usually, I can drink 2 22-ounce cups before someone drinks one. So I do 44 ounces and they do 22. So that's usually
that is pretty quick.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Yeah, I thought I was pretty good at beer bonging back in the day.
Oh yeah,
you know, you
bring it back.
fill up a couple of them. Yeah, you don't see that very often
We should do
anymore.
a beer Olympics.
Beer Olympics.
Root beer Olympics. That's what
Right.
do a bunch of beer games. That'd be fun here.
Yeah, there's all
Drinking and swimming.
Yeah, I don't know how good of a combo that is, but
Horrible combo.
right.
But no, that's pretty much what I got going on. I'm working on trying to get some other stuff, some more shows and things like that. So that's what I'm doing. What do you got coming up? What's next for Mr. Bossman?
Well, I am. I'm really trying to get that Ramones up and rolling.
Yeah.
And Akron's fighting me on it. They have it. They have it listed as like a problem property. But it's grandfathered in right now, and I don't know if I want to go in and fight them.
Yeah.
Because what they did, so they're using some kind of clause about the food license, so I can't get the liquor license. And then I jumped through that hoop, and then they said, well, your parking spots don't equal your occupancy permit. So I'm like,
because isn't it like every parking space counts for 2 or 3 people?
I don't.
It's something crazy.
I don't know. They were calculating mine because the place is a big place.
Yeah.
It's almost 11,000 square feet.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's big.
I mean, the occupancy, was like, almost 300 people in there, and
at least 100 parking spaces, right?
nah, that's what they told me when I was getting it. But I'm having a really hard time.
Yeah.
Fitting in 100 cars, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, man, it's so weird. Like, so this is a business podcast, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
And that's what, I was trying to open up the thrift shop, and that's because I buy storage units when I'm home doing comedy. I try to find stuff to make money, and so I buy storage units. And I get them super cheap. I buy them on an auction website. I get them I just got one the other day for $20, and immediately sold a bunch of stuff out of there for $400.
Oh, that freezer.
I have that. Yeah, that
all right.
that one for $35. So, I get all this stuff for usually under $200, and I make good money off it. So it's hard to sell little stuff like puzzles and DVDs and stuff like on Facebook. So I tried to open up a small thrift shop, and having a bunch of issues with like the city. It took a month and a half for them to come out to even just do the first inspection. And then that was the fire inspection. He was like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff wrong with the building. So building has to come out. And by then I've already had the place 5 months. So I just decided to pack up and move because how much needed. The address was wrong. They were saying they needed to change the address of the building. I was like, how does that even, how's that even a thing?
How does that even,
so none of it had to do with me.
you? You don't own the building.
Yeah, so then I was like, I had to wait for the landlord. I know that was going to take 2 more months, so I just moved on.
Now you're kind of getting in the real estate world where there could,
Yeah.
there's roadblock after roadblock after
Man.
roadblock. And it's
makes
just,
it hard.
you just got to stay with it and just tell them, man, I'm to the point where I'm so used to it. I'm like, bring it on. What's next?
Yeah,
What's
I'm the opposite.
next?
I'm like, you know what? I don't know.
Yeah, what's next?
Because it's just like how much you have to put in to start a business and how much money you have to have just like continuously putting in little things and adding a fire exit sign and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It adds up so quick.
Oh, so fast.
Yeah, extremely
And then once you're in business, and then people, just like today, right before you got here, the health department was here because they had an anonymous complaint. I mean, so then I'm like, what's a complaint? So so then it was something about throwing trash or something back in the wetlands. And I'm like, no, I said, usually anonymous complaint. I said, why do you even, follow up with those? And they were going on and on. So I kind of like got her really involved with Springfield. I'm like, what you're telling me, man, we have 130 of those problems going on now in Springfield and being a township. So I don't know. I think I kind of flipped it a little bit on her. And so hopefully now they're going to help us over in
that would be nice.
Springfield.
Yeah. If you could turn into something positive, I don't think I've gotten that far.
Yeah.
I've tried to, because I tried to start the ghost kitchen. Yeah. And trying to do the thrift shop. I'm just trying to find something that can help while I'm touring. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need that. And I want to be like you. You a business, you got things set up to where you have more than one. And I hand it off to you because I've tried. I have not figured it out yet.
I mean, like your ghost kid. Yeah, you're very young. I mean, that like you wanted to get in that Mama's hot dogs.
Yes.
That's we talked about that. And somebody actually just got in there. As soon as they got in there, they're under already. I mean, I talked to them when they were just getting started, and I wanted to go over there and kind of, help them out a little bit. And I went back over there and they're like, we called it quits. I mean, it's tough because
be so like with mine, it was such an easy concept. It was cheap to start. So when I did it, it was a handshake agreement. So I ended up getting kicked out of that place because the person thought they could do better with their kitchen space. So, but I had did $9,000 in 30 days on just DoorDash. So you're like, if you do that, and I wasn't doing takeout or dine-in. So if I could do that, I know I could make it 25,000. But it's just, you start off and you can't have, I didn't have, when I started the Just In Case, I had $500. I talked to the lady. She said that I could use it with no rent up front and she would just take a percentage. And then I did well, and then she thought she could do the same thing.
What was the name of it again?
Just In Case.
Yeah,
just quesadilla spot.
Yeah,
and we did. I had $500. I spent $500 on food. I cleaned the place up, started it, got it on DoorDash, and from that made the $9K. But I was putting money back into it, so I didn't have the money to leave and go start up somewhere else because you need to do how much a food truck costs.
Oh yeah,
and then trying to do a brick and mortar. If you can't find turnkey, you have to put the equipment in or get a hood system, which costs $15,000.
Just off the rip.
Just off the rip. And I'm like, well, I don't have 15,000. And so it's so hard to start something, but like you try to do something so that I can't work for someone for $9.
Just keep plugging away.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, man. It's hard.
It's like, that's
what it's. But it's also admiring to see, like, watch you do business and see other people build a business. Because now that I know how much it takes of your time, because I'll come home Monday through Thursday and I have nothing to do, so then I go do something like that to try to bring extra money, and it is ton of work.
You got to live, eat, sleep, drink. I mean, your business.
The kitchen, I was doing 100 hours by myself because I was doing 12 hours a day. 100 hours by myself before I brought in someone to help me work. It's just like, it's crazy. Like, to do 5 days of work and work 100 hours. You're like, I don't know if this is better than working for someone else. This is insane how much work you got to put in.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
you got a unique situation going on here, though.
Yeah,
pretty soon your name's going to be so big to where you're going to be able to attach to almost anything, and it's going to be successful.
Right, and that's
that's huge.
I would say I'm blessed to have the following I have at Akron and stuff like that, because that's why the quesadilla spot did good, and that's why my store is called Flipping It, the thrift shop. We're doing it now. We're just doing it through online Facebook sales, but they did good because people come and they show up and they support me, and I appreciate that. I just wish I could get something that was like permanent because, but comedy took me, I was going 13 hours to do 10 minutes or 5 minutes for free. And I was driving. I used to sleep
doing whatever it takes.
Whatever it took. When I was also young. I started comedy at 19. So I was traveling. I was going to open up for big names hosting. And so you get paid $50 a show. So you make $200, no hotel. So I was sleeping in my car during blizzards in Cincinnati and stuff like that, just to try to open up and get a name out there. And I was 2 years in. I was 21, 22 years old trying to do that stuff. But it took so long before I actually made a living to where I could actually make comedy like, my main job. But it took forever. So for me to expect that
you're on
business,
your way, man. You're young.
I'm 30 now. It's not young no more. I mean, I'm young, but like 30 is it's a scary age.
Listen,
you start to think.
So my 30 to now, I lost everything twice. I think. I mean, I up, down, up, down. I mean, it's crazy.
When do you feel like it started just going up for you, where it's actually like you broke the seal of the failing and just kind of started moving up?
When I actually started like reaching out to more people that, like talking to people that's been through it more. And, like back when I got started, we couldn't flip through these reels and stuff to help us. I mean, I was, and then I got some pretty good mentors, and, I started there, and I was trying not to, create mistakes that they made, especially in real estate. I mean, you're still, I'm learning, and that $10,000 seminar seems pretty cheap when you just cost yourself $15,000 on something that you missed. Yeah. So.
Okay. So you're networking and you're building people around you that's already done it. And that's how, I mean, that's helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
Too.
Getting around, like-minded people and
That's okay. That's good advice. I mean, just because like that with comedy, that's helped me. I haven't figured it out with the other stuff, and just building a business. I mean, there isn't, like you said, there's not a lot of help. There wasn't when you said you did it. So now you can kind of look through Facebook.
I mean, you'd be able to call me up anytime. You got to be able to bounce ideas off.
Yeah, people. And you still have ideas that How the House wasn't super successful, but you always try. That's what I like.
And especially marketing wise, with the houses.
That's what I'm good at. I think we're both really good at marketing, and that's what the Haunted House. I mean, we got. I mean, for it to be open for the 2 weeks, it was really popping.
Oh yeah, I mean, the Akron Beacon Journal, they loved it. I remember them calling me up and going through it for the first time, and the guy's like, "Whoa!" He goes, "You got something here." I'm like, "Well, all right."
Yeah, and it's crazy just how quickly it can not be just because one person. Same with the food place. That was just one person messed it up for me. So you never know as how one thing can happen.
Yeah,
and just kind of
and then just kind of build it from that. Yeah, you just gotta never stop either, man. Just every time they throw something at you, just like, give it to me again. Yeah. Like right now, like we're going to have to cut this, probably short because I have a meeting with the surrounding neighbors the first Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
Because, they don't, like what I do, or, I just told them I cut out all the bike nights. Yeah. And, that's something
for
where
sound and stuff.
Yeah, for sound and stuff. But I think a lot of it, like one guy, he finally admitted to me. He goes, "Jeremy, it's not so much A." He goes, "It's you." I'm like, "Well, I'm glad you told me that. I love it."
Yeah.
And, and then once he told me that, and then I could ask him questions and stuff. And one of the things that made this guy pissed off about me is my son and I was doing a podcast on real estate. And I said, "Hey, son," I said, "You know what a job stands for?" And he's like, "No, Dad, what?" I said, "JOB, just over broke." I said, "Do you want to get a job?" And it really offended this guy that I would say that. And I'm like, I didn't even really know how to respond to him. Besides, you should have, not watched me so much or whatever, something like that.
The people that watch you the most, that hate on you the most too.
But that was, that was kind of interesting. So those guys I'm sure that, he'll be watching this podcast because he watches every one of them. So,
well, shout out to you, sir.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah, be good. And actually, since we started this big neighbor group, almost all the neighbors now are coming over because I gave all the neighbors within like a half-mile radius a free season pass, and they're loving it. So
at least you have figured out to reach out to the community and help the problems instead of trying to completely fight against them. And being like
I want to be you got to be a good neighbor. You got to be.
Yeah, for sure. And it's definitely part of it. And that's what I try to build, man. Like, so you said is like, don't stop fighting and keep trying stuff. And then building a good network around you. That's smart. Yeah. That's two helpful things. So if you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to, just start pitching to people.
Don't ever my son, he's so far advanced for me because of these reels and stuff, like with working out. He's like, "Oh, Dad, well, according to the science-based theory here," I'm like, "What the heck, man?" I mean, back then, we didn't have any of that.
It's hard to because you watch one video and then you'll watch another one that contradicts that one. So then you never know which one to really follow unless you just kind of start it and, do it. I mean, I started gambling thinking because do you have the gamblers on there? And I'm like, I can just go on black 3 times in a row.
And then,
just bet on black. Someone said you'll never lose if you just double your bet every time. So if you go 50 and then lose, you just bet 100, and then you bet 200 if you lose, and then 400 if you lose again.
Listen,
and eventually
I've
win.
Seen the whole thing on roulette where
and
it's
I'm
all
like,
one
wait,
color
I don't think
or
I should
another.
do this. Yeah,
it's everything's streaks in life too. That's like that roulette. Like once, like it seems like you got to ride your winners. Like if you are onto something that's winning, that's doing good, you want to go all in with that.
Okay.
And you want to ride that as long as you can.
I like that.
And then ride your winners and cut your losses fast.
Okay.
Like if you think that something is not working, you want to cut it off. And
do you ever try to bring it back? Because for me, I have trouble with my focus. So it's like I feel like there's 4 things I could do, and then I try to split my focus on them, and then things start to fall apart, and I'm like, okay, well then I need to focus on this again, and then it happens again where I'm like, okay, well I'm trying to bring something back or try to make something happen, and then it all falls apart.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really trying to force it to happen, I throw little things out there to see if the market likes it.
Yeah.
For instance, like these cabins that I wanted to do. So, I didn't come up with the idea. My customers were coming up to me saying, "Hey, Jeremy, I got to go down to Clearwater and, get these cabins. You ever thought about having them?" Yeah. I'm like, "Huh, no, not really, but let me look into it." And I actually went down to Clearwater and rented one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is pretty cool, hang out all day. And then, so yeah, that's when I, got into the, wanted to do the cabins.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that's a smart way to do it. Is try to see what I try to post things on Facebook to see what people.
Yeah.
What do y'all want? It's definitely fun to watch, and I'm glad there's a podcast like this. You kind of have insight so people can see.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, this is a business based.
Yeah.
Yeah, podcast. Yeah,
and business comes in so many different forms. So like a lot of people didn't know that you could make money from comedy, and people don't now. When people talk about it, they don't realize how much money is in it. Like certain actors and rappers started doing comedy because they don't know that if you can sell out 5 shows on a weekend, you can make $50,000 in 3 days. You make $50,000 doing a weekend of shows because you got 300 people coming to your show. At $35 a ticket, you get 80% of the ticket, and you do that 5 times in a weekend. That's that money. Yeah, $30,000.
That's easy math. I like it, man.
So
how can I get to that point as fast as I can?
Yeah,
that would just drive my mind crazy. Okay. How can I get to that point?
Yeah.
And I'll be trying so many different things, techniques.
Maybe you can help me figure that out because I have the stand up where I'm known as one of the top performers. I know how to do comedy. I can do an hour and a half, but I haven't figured out social media or how to build the draw. So of course in Ohio I can sell tickets, but outside of Ohio I'm not selling that great. I can sell 30 tickets maybe in Indianapolis or 40 tickets, but to get to where I'm selling 1,000 a weekend, I'm trying to figure out that. And social media is one way, and I'm trying to figure out other ways. So that's where I'm losing. I haven't figured out how to get that.
I think
as fast as you can.
You keep getting out there a little bit, getting the movie going.
Yeah,
that would be huge. I mean, like a lot of people don't know, you've done MMA too.
I fought MMA.
Yeah. When I was,
I've done everything. People don't know. I rapped before. I was a youth leader. I've coached softball. I'm an MMA fighter. I've had 37 jobs.
Dude, I love it.
I've done everything.
Yeah.
I've acted. I've done comedy. I mean, I've been a lifeguard.
Yeah, all that was great. Our lifeguard video training.
Yeah, and that's what someone called me, a comedian out of Columbus named Jake Ian Reno. I can never say his name. And he told me, he said that lifeguard video is really funny. You need to make a show about it. And that's when I pitched it to you, like, hey, we should do something. And that was a couple years ago. I should have been wrote it. So that's my fault. We should have been done.
Okay, I didn't really know how that kind of came about.
He said you need to write something for it. He said it's really, really funny. It's a unique idea. And so I've been working on writing that because I think it'll be fun. I think everyone will like it too.
Yeah.
So that's
listen, that helped. That video actually helped me get some quality lifeguards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right there near the end. Remember, I called you up. I'm like, I can't find that video. Yeah. I can't find it. And you shot it over to me.
Right.
And then I put it out there, and I think we got 3 lifeguards just off that video.
Oh, nice.
That was cool.
Well,
man.
look at me.
Yeah, listen.
I'm a temp service now.
A temp service. Yeah, add that to your
My resume.
30. Yeah, right.
I've done a lot. I've had. Have you had a lot of jobs before you were?
I've never really had a real job. I've never had a real job in my life.
What did you start with?
I started off. It's funny you asked. I started off doing singing telegrams. Yeah.
I did. My aunt did that, and she needed security. She wanted like fake security to be Marilyn Monroe, and so I came as her security guard when I was like 16 because of my size, and I just stood there while she sang. Oh, yeah. It was for like a crowd of people. Yeah, it was really funny. Yeah. So what did you sing? Can you sing?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, yeah. Have you ever done any singing publicly?
Oh yeah, I'll get up there. I do karaoke and.
I just did karaoke on a cruise ship. We did. I did Louis Armstrong. What a Wonderful World.
That's I love that song.
Yeah,
I love it.
I can sing that. That's the only song I can.
I remember when I was 16, I got into that when I was like 16. And then when I started college at Akron U, I kept it going and stuff. And then, let me see if I could remember one here. I'll do it as a poem, maybe. Let's see. Well, I hear you're getting married, and I think it's really great. All of your best girlfriends sent me here to celebrate. Nowadays, most ladies marry when her period is late. But your friends say you're a cherry and you found the perfect mate. So don't let this song upset you. Being single is a drag. You could date a guy for 13 months and find out and no more lonely nights listening to funky bands and fighting off the gigolos who want a one-night stand. Because now you'll have a man who'll be there when you're feeling all alone. He'll set you straight and make a happy home. So forget all your problems. Fill your heart with joy instead, because there's nothing more fulfilling than when man and wife are wed. I cannot believe I just recalled that.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
The last time you did that was probably, the 70s?
I mean, dude, that is nuts. It just started filling in my brain there. Okay. Wow.
So how old were you when you started that?
I was 16.
Okay. So some of the words he said was allowed to be said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So sorry for that, anybody.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So 16. So
that was he was recalling something. There you go, from the 70s. So certain words were allowed to be said back then. I'm trying to save you.
Yeah, right. Thank you. I didn't really think of that.
But that's crazy that you.
But yeah, that poem or song came through this company that
and you go do it.
And they would call you up, and then they would I'd do like a cop or a doctor, and it was real simple, easy.
That's crazy. And so that's what you started with doing. And after that, how did you get into actual like real estate and doing business? Because you said you never had a real job. Like
I was doing. I was always in the. I've done some construction work here and there, but I was like, man, I don't know about doing this the rest of my life. You know, I'll never forget my good buddy Bill Denholm. His dad had a big concrete company. And I think we're like, I don't know, maybe a junior or senior in high school. He's like, hey, we're doing a big job. You want to come on out? So I'm like, I showed up and I had these shoes that you don't want to show up to for a concrete company. And man, these guys, I mean, from the time I got there till the time I left, I mean, I was getting yelled at. I'm like sitting there, and I remember leaving. That's probably one of the best things I did, though. I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to do that stuff my whole life. Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
No, that's how I quit every job. Was just like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'll just leave. You didn't put a 2-week notice in. I never for 37 jobs. I never put a 2-week notice in, but I got hired back from at least 5 of those jobs. Yeah. Even though just because being a good worker, so I got hired back because I needed some money. But I showed up to a construction job, and it was to build a hotel. And I had these big boots on that didn't fit me, so I was miserable. And I left that day, and I left. I think it was supposed to be a 12-hour work day. I worked maybe 4 hours. It was like, I can't do this work. So I told him I didn't even get paid. I said, keep the 4 hours, and I just left. 4 free hours for you. I had a job at a factory when I turned 18. Rubbermaid. I got hired, and I was maintenance. I was supposed to clean. And it was my first big boy job, working more than 4 hours, 5 hours, because I always worked at fast food. So I was working 12-hour shift, and they had me. My job was just to sweep the warehouse. So hey, sweep the warehouse. So I swept it, and I finished in 3 hours. To do it again. So I did it again. But I finished that in 3-4 hours. I came back to do it again. I was like, I don't want to keep sweeping nothing. I'm sweeping nothing. So my buddy who used to have the job was like, just go find somewhere and chill. So I went to the bathroom, and I fell asleep. And it was the 11th hour out of 12-hour workday. The manager came in. He knocked on the door. He was like, is that you? Are you in there, Chris? And I was like, yeah. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, nothing. He was like, are you sleeping? I was like, no. He was like, then why are your shoes off? And I had my shoes kicked off to the side. I was leaned back, just sleep. And I was like, yeah. I said, you caught me. I was sleeping. He was like, meet me in my office. They fired me on the spot.
Really?
And they said I could reapply in a different position. But I was crying. I was like, I just lost my version. But yeah, I'm glad that I didn't. Cause I don't want to do that kind of work.
Yeah, you imagine being something like, and that's something else, like what sticks in my head. My mom, ever since I could remember, she would always tell me, Jeremy, do not get into something that you do not like your whole life. She goes, do not do it. Yeah. And I remember she would tell me that over, and since I've been like 5, she would sit there and tell me that.
Yeah.
So she's like, you got to be happy, do stuff that makes you happy your whole life. And
so I had a counselor, 2 things he had told me. One was I was 15 in alternative school because I had already technically dropped out of high school. So I was trying to get my credits to get my actual diploma. And he told me I should quit school and just go to work because I was so far behind. I was about to turn 16. I had maybe like 3 or 4 credits. So he was like, just go work and get your GED when you turn 18. So that was one thing he told me, which I appreciate because I would not have graduated on time at all. So the second thing he told me was as soon as I think that I want to quit a job, just quit. Because if you think it immediately, you're going to keep thinking it and you're going to be miserable. So he was like, once you have in your head that you want to quit that job, there's no point to stay. Yeah.
Like ride your winners and cut your losses
like you said,
fast.
Yeah. Cut your losses.
Boom.
That's what I got to get better at with like things that I create. I want them to work so much that sometimes it's hard to let it go. Right.
Yeah. I mean, just like, talk about real estate with like a lot of people will get this emotional attachment to their real estate. Yeah. And they know that we're in like one of the best selling times ever and the tax situation is good for them and they just can't, they can't let go of some of these houses or, but that's something that a lot of people get emotionally attached to as a real estate business. Yeah.
It's stuff that's hard. It's hard you get attached to, especially when you know it might work. Because like with the food place, it was hard to lose that because it's like I just seen it make $8-9 grand, quickly, and you're like, I'm not going to be able to restart this if I move. But that was my stuff. I've learned from it was like not making handshake deals. Like make sure I get something in writing.
See, and then with the food business, like you said, it's going to work. That's where you just never. You're going to go through those lows and lows. But when times are good, you got to definitely start preparing for when times are bad because they're coming. Yeah. It's definitely coming.
Yeah. And then with the other one, with the store was trying to open up. I didn't realize certain things with how early you could get inspections and stuff. And I thought you had to have everything set up and all this stuff. So I learned that I can get an inspection today. That I open or get the keys because I wish I would have done that. So then I didn't pay 5 months of rent before I found out that we couldn't even.
You don't even have an address correctly.
Yeah, we don't have that. Yeah. It's
right.
So it's just stuff like that. You're just like, okay, well, we weren't even close. So it's stuff like that. So you learn. The good thing is I'm young enough that I'm learning stuff. So if I ever go to retry something or open something that maybe I can shoot for the hot dog spot now that they're
it's going to be open.
It's going to be.
Bad thing about that place is the signage over there. You can't. Springfield is kind of weird right now. We're in like. I'm trying to get some of the sign stuff passed. So like businesses like that, you could have a shot at being successful instead of people not even knowing that you're there.
Don't they have it on the side of the wall? Now, did they open it as a hot dog spot? Did they reopen it?
Yeah, they opened it as kind of like it was kind of like a hot dog. I think
the problem with that spot's so small, the problem is like one, marketing of it, but like also like you have to have something that's different, especially in that area. It's near Ellet. So it's like Ellet's kind of like, not retirement home, but like older people that have like their grandkids that come over. Like it's just like that. So you have to have something that they want to go to more than like just another hot dog spot or another, burger spot or something like that. It has to have something that separates it. That's why I think Just a Queso did so well was because all I sold was quesadillas. And it was just 9 different quesadillas and they were huge. They were pizza. Remember, they were big and a video went viral. Someone like pulling the cheese from it. And it was just like, gigantic. It has to have something that sets it apart from every other food spot. So if it's a hot dog spot or a diner, which I went in there.
Listen, I have a strong feeling that business is going to be up and running again.
Oh, as a hot dog spot?
No,
Oh,
your
yeah,
queso
no,
business. Yeah.
I do too. It's just starting the startup cost because I had an investor interested and he offered 10,000 for 10%, and that was after a month of being open. So I got $100,000 valuation,
Yeah.
off of 1 month of being open,
Yeah, that's
and he
good.
offered that, but it was in contingency of us finding a location that was turnkey. So we had to find a spot that already had all the equipment, and we could just go in. And so we found 2 spots. Both times that we went in and made the offer, they someone came in with 20 grand up front, where they just paid for the rent all the way. And we couldn't do that. I only had the money they offered. So, and the other thing, I had another investor interested, and he told me he wanted me to stop doing comedy. He said, "You got to stop."
Really?
Yeah, because he wanted me to focus on the business, and I was like,
I
"Well,
think that would help it. I do.
the comedy
Yeah.
helps it." That's why I said comedy is what made it. I'm almost my own spokesperson.
Yeah.
It's like having a celebrity spokesperson
Yeah.
for it. And I told him, and it was crazy because he came and tried the food, and I was like, "You're interested in giving me $10,000, but you think I need to be there to run a business?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Did you try it today?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "How was it?" He was like, "It was amazing." I said, "I'm in Toledo." I was like, I'm not even there. You tried the food. I have my brother's working right now. Like this,
Right.
I can tell it doesn't need me there. I just know how to.
Right.
I set it up to where, and so it's just trying to get that started, get the capital to start it. You know how much a food truck costs, so you could go food truck or food cart, or you can go brick and mortar. Brick and mortar, I think, is the cheapest and the best option, but if you don't have the right stuff in there, you're getting outbidded by everybody. So it's very hard to start.
I mean,
start
like
up.
like what you're talking, these ghost kitchens.
Yeah.
They're popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
That's kind of like in Ray's over there in
Yeah,
North Hill, or
Yeah,
not?
that's-
North Hill
yeah.
or Highland Square.
Highland Square, right?
Yeah. So Ray's took on Bob's because he didn't want to deal with this kitchen no more.
Right.
So he's like, "Here, you guys just come on in." And like, yeah, we just took
Yeah.
over his kitchen, put up a Bob's
That's
sign.
That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to. I want to do that with someone. I tried to do. There's a spot in Barberton that has a little kitchen that's not being used. I tried to talk to him and just trying to get someone to hop on the deal. Because ghost kitchens, they work, but they also have a lot of downfall because older people don't pay DoorDash prices. They're not going to download the app. They're not going to pay the extra $6-7 for delivery.
Yeah, you're right.
And with DoorDash, it's kind of not to like kind of talk smack about them, but DoorDash charges the customer and the person and the business. So they're charging us 15% of every sale. And then if you want extra marketing, it's 25% for every sale. Then they're charging the consumer the delivery fee and all that stuff. So they're making a ton of money.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for people to really get through DoorDash. That's my biggest complaint. If you look through the page of Just In Queso, is people wanting to order but wanted to do takeout, and I couldn't do takeout there. So probably I counted over 100 comments of people saying I will get it when they do takeout. I had someone drive 2.5 hours.
Listen, I have a feeling from this podcast. Listen, if anybody has a kitchen out there,
or a bar, we're gonna start a GoFundMe at this point. Like,
listen, I think it would work, man. I definitely.
You never got to try the food, but I'm telling you, it was the best quesadillas. I know how to. I made it. I was working at a hotel as a bartender and like their chef at Marriott, and they had a pizza quesadilla, and I would just make different quesadillas and stuff. And then my coworker was like, "You need to make a business of just quesadillas," and I just started making these different. We had a gyro quesadilla, which is our top seller, a chicken cordon bleu pizza one.
Oh, wow.
We had I had one that was coming to the menu, avocado toast was super good.
Now that's getting more and more popular.
And,
yeah.
But so breakfast quesadilla was great for when you got drunk. People like would go to the bar and then come buy a quesadilla. So like stuff like that. It's a great idea. So if anyone wants to, while we're here, anyone wants to bring this out, I'm still trying to. I would love to do it again. Me and my girlfriend talked about doing it together, and just the capital start.
Yeah, you see, that's another thing. You two make a great pair.
Oh yeah, she's
great
awesome.
pair. I can see that. Listen, since you guys been together, I could just feel like your guys' combined energy.
Oh yeah,
you guys are going to be able to take on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Together. I definitely.
I'm lucky to have someone like that. So we've been dating almost a year and a half, and what's crazy is I look at things, as hindsight, but I was casted to do a TV show, and then I turned that down to do this other TV show I got casted for. This really big show that was going to be on Comedy Central called Kings and Queens of Comedy. And it was, the old Kings of Comedy, which was like Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey, Dale Hewley. They were casting for a new season of that for younger comics. And I was casted as one of the top 12 to be on the show, and they pulled it from Comedy Central, and they are still looking for a new home. And then so I was going to be filming March to or January to May or April. 4 months was going to be filming, and that was in 2023. And I didn't get to do the show because they pulled it and they dropped the show. So then I met her in February. So if I would have been filming, I would have never met her and had that support system that I truly needed in life. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
that partner and that person. And so I think for me, I believe in God, so I believe that He put someone in around me that could help me for when I'm ready to make it, because that might have been a great opportunity, but maybe I wasn't mentally and supported and needed her, you know what I'm saying? So I think something bigger will come, and that's the support system I need.
It's on its way.
Yeah, for sure.
I could just feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah, it's really dope. So.
Yeah, it is, man.
So 5 people around you that can support you, and that's a good teammate, and that's there for you. Find a good circle to network around and be a mentor, and never stop fighting. That's what we learned.
Yeah, you never stop.
Never stop. Keep trying. Yeah. As I said, I'll keep throwing stuff at the wall till something sticks.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm
Listen, yeah.
So what did you learn today, Jeremy?
I learned a lot of stuff about you, man. I'm glad. I'm glad.
You know, I had that many jobs.
We were able to pull this off, at the last minute.
Yeah.
And, that's cool.
Any other words you want to say?
Just, maybe we're going to get on KimTamPark.com. Okay, we're going to get the ticket link up there for August 31st.
How much are tickets for? You get to swim and get a show.
Yeah, I was thinking $20. $20 for a whole day of swimming and the comedy show.
Yeah,
or if you just want to do the comedy show, and then we'll do
still $20. You should have came to swim.
Yeah, right. You should have came to swim.
So yeah, $20. That's a perfect show. You get 3 comedians. It's an hour and a half show plus a day of swimming possibly. Yeah. So August 31st, come. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Every time I go to one of your shows, man.
Yeah.
My face is hurting.
Yeah, I'm pretty funny, man.
Yeah, you are pretty damn funny.
I'm a talented young man. If people don't realize, I have a lot of stuff going for me.
And you have a lot of jobs behind you.
I do. I've had experience.
For as young as you are, you're definitely.
I've always been an old soul.
Yeah, so. You have a lot of wisdom behind you at that age.
Now I can say, like, when I was like 25, and people are like, you wise for your age. And I'm 30. I'm like, now it fits. Like, I'm 30. Right. I'm old now. So, all right. Well, go ahead. Wrap us up.
All right, guys.
I'm Chris Harvey. This is Jeremy.
Yeah. It's the boss man. I'm glad we're kicking off season 2.
Season 2.
Bossman Prophecies. And we will see you at the next one. And definitely
follow us. Chris Harvey Comedy on all social media.
Yep. And I don't know.
You have social media?
Truth. Yeah, I'm just.
Do you have a Bossman Prophecies Instagram or Facebook?
We have. I don't know.
He's so old. Just follow whatever you're watching this on. Follow. Just hit the follow button. That's about it. And if you want to see comedy, check out my tour days. Chris Harvey Comedy. I'm coming around the whole nation pretty much. Yeah. Coming soon. So. All right.
See you guys later.
It's a wrap.
How we end up here.
See ya.
See ya. Yeah.